Hi, my name is Erin Cullinane, and I am doing a project on the book Where Good Ideas Come From by Steven Johnson. I chose to focus on one chapter from this book called Platforms. This presentation will be displayed in a Pekakucha style. Many people imagine a light bulb turning on when they have a new idea. Steven Johnson believes that these light bulb moments come from some other place or platform. Ideas do not just form out of nowhere. Ideas are built off of one another. There is an original platform laid, and it continues to be built upon. In Where Good Ideas Come From, Johnson refers to Charles Darwin and his theories and ideas. Johnson uses Darwin's coral reef exploration as a metaphor to idea platforms. Darwin's theory of coral reefs did not just come out of nowhere. He built his ideas off of Charles Lyell's knowledge. We must look at a lagoon as a monument raised by myriads of tiny architects. Johnson describes the details, life, and depth of the coral reef. These amazing and complicated surfaces are always being built upon. It all started from one small polyp, and it has turned into a home for millions of different species. But a coral reef is a platform in a much more profound sense. The mounds, plates, and crevices of the reef create a habitat for millions of other species, an undersea metropolis of immersed diversity. The new layers of the reef represent new ideas being built on top of one another. Both the reef and ideas need a starting point or a platform. Within this chapter, Johnson also discusses Sputnik 1. Two students from Johns Hopkins University were able to listen to the signals of Sputnik from their tiny radio. These two men were able to locate the satellite in space due to some new mathematical ideas. They built off of Christian Doppler's theory of the Doppler effect. The Doppler effect was their platform to build upon. In its own small way, the APL was a platform that encouraged and amplified hunches that allowed those hunches to be connected with other minds that had relevant expertise. Any environment that allows people to discuss, research, think, and create is a platform. Ideas can be born more easily and more frequently. Tim Berners-Lee is one of the creators of the web. He was able to freely build on top of the open protocols of the Internet platform. Computer and communication systems were already built for him. HTML was based on another existing platform. A lot of the foundation or platforms were already there for Berners-Lee. The web can be imagined as a kind of archaeological site with layers upon layers of platforms buried beneath every page. The web is an open source, which is why it's changing every single day. Ideas are being built upon idea. It took 3 men to create YouTube in 6 months. The existing platforms were there for them to build upon. Johnson continues to talk about stacked platforms through culture. Different cultures are built upon one another. Another resource I found discusses the difference between solving social problems and their platforms. But genius requires genres. Johnson discusses genres of creative arts as stacked platforms. Genres supply a set of implicit rules that have enough coherence that traditionalists can play safely beside them, and more adventurous artists can confound our expectations by playing with them. Genres are the platforms and paradigms of the creative world. Musicians learn from one another. Instruments, notes, melodies came from many musicians. Our ideas are never independent from one another. Everything connects and begins with a platform. Stacked platforms allow us to not need to know all of the information. For example, musicians today do not have to create their own instruments. That is already done for them. Social networking sites are all the rage right now. Twitter is one of the most popular social networking sites. It went from a site where people would post everyday nothings to political news. Just like many other ideas and companies, Twitter's ultimate business model was developed by another startup company. Twitter chose to use open platform and software. This strategy allows any users to use the site for different reasons. New tools and icons are being built. Twitter's creators recognized that there was another kind of competitive advantage that came from complete openness. This advantage comes from having the largest and most diverse ecosystem of software applications being built on their platform. This is a map that shows the last million tweets around the world. Twitter and other social networking sites are allowing anyone to make changes to sites. People are becoming more and more connected due to these new ideas and innovations. Johnson discusses a contest that's held in Washington, D.C. Software developers are invited to build applications that drew upon the open data made available by the city government. The winners would receive $10,000. After reading this book, I began to think about how this all applies to the classroom. When thinking about platforms, I think about group projects, modeling, projects that allow choice. Working in groups allows students to work and think together. Ideas are thrown around and built upon in group projects. When a teacher is modeling, he or she is giving examples or a platform of information. A classroom is an open source platform because students are able to ask questions, experiment, and think freely. A school classroom is like the APL at Johns Hopkins. It promotes hunches and learning. Ideas today are spread all over the world. They're spread through the web, which is reaching people everywhere. The open source programs are allowing all of these people to create new ideas on top of other ones. The web has connected the world more than ever before. Stack platforms allow people to continue to build and grow through the web. All ideas start from somewhere. Here's a list of resources that I used to compile this project and information. Enjoy!